Chewy. Chewy chew. Chewy. Hey, come on. Not a very responsive dog. Quite a few years ago, I made this smelter out of some propane empties, and I'll put a link to the construction video. We don't really have any appropriate receptacles. I can't remember the correct term for them, but I did buy a really nice crucible after having tried to make a few steel ones that blew out. I've never used it, and I'm not sure I've got the proper crucible handling tools. But one of the other problems was where do I locate this? Well, it's mid-September. You'd think I'd have done this in the summertime, but no joy. So we've got some fire brick, and that's been in my stash of construction materials over here. And what I've done is I've got an old creeper that I've now put some five-eighths or three-quarter inch, whatever it is, moldy drywall. I don't care about the mold. And I'm going to put this fire brick on top of the drywall. And then I'm going to put a finishing surface of some slate squares. I think they are slate. Possibly not. We'll see. And that will give me a mobile, more or less fireproof surface. And then I'm going to melt down a vast quantity of aluminum cans that I've collected over the past summer. And once that's all done, it's moving onward to the creating some green sand, for which I have some, what do they call them? Cope and drag? I can't remember. But I made some boxes for some small projects. They're not yet set up with alignment configurations or pins or whatever we're going to call them. But I'm going to set that up as soon as I've created the green sand. And I have a bag of sand here that I'm going to sift, and then to put some old used engine oil from the Kit Fox and create oily green sand. And we'll see what happens. So that's the process for right now. Keep you posted. Well, this should work. I suppose a good plan would be to test it. But let's introduce this again. Welcome back to the workshop world that I've got. As some of you may have noticed, there's been a whole bunch of open mic guitar work going on recently, because I've just been not well, and it's difficult to continue pursuing little projects. But I'm vaguely motivated today, so as I was explaining a little bit earlier, over there is a, I don't know, what do you call it, a furnace, a smelter for melting down tin cans, aluminum beer cans, aluminum soft drink cans, which will then get poured into here and ultimately into a sand cast mold for some project. But I need it to be mobile. So my dilemma, I've been thinking about it, is where am I going to put this facility? And the answer is keep it mobile. So I've got an old creeper that I never use as a creeper, that I've laid down some 5/8 or 3/4 inch moldy drywall that comes from our kitchen renovation project. And then I have fire brick that we've stored for many years. So after the fire brick, I may lay down some slate tile, and that's going to create a surface that if I spill molten metal on it, it's not going to explode the concrete. So I think that's about it. We're going to check this out and then go for time lapse. Well, there we go. We have the makings of a mobile, what shall we call it, casting platform? I guess so. Gonna go fetch the tools. Alrighty, so there's the tools. They're a little flimsy. They ought to work, but it's $100 for the carbon. Well, this is it. One of the serious symptoms is I can't even remember words. Crucible. Okay. Yeah, that was a complete disaster. Oh. Fortunately, they just landed flat. But it is time to get some water onto those. Yikes. Well, I ran them under the hose under cold water for a minute. But that's going to be very painful. How many times during this whole little process did I think to myself, I should probably put some boots, steel-toed shoes on. More than once. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that hurt. It's about as perfect as it can get. As is this. Ooh, that toe is swollen, but good. Uh-huh. Yeah. Maybe a few bricks.
Those clothes in the basket need to be washed.
Yes. Thank you, hon. Well, here's my little mechanism. This goes up this way. Okay, remind me to turn that in a different direction. Now, if I bent this, so trip hazard. This goes to here. Well, pretty close to the end of the day. One little quick test of the mechanisms. Well, what I've done is I've bent the handle. I tightened up the little adjusters here. So in theory, I go like this. Ooh, dip, 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 dip. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Yes, I do believe this is going to work. Okay, so out you go like that. you get closed and the day's work is done. Looking forward to the first project, which I may just show for a moment here in the video. Well, we're in the shop now, and I'm making a conscious decision to move as many tools as possible up to my former aircraft hangar. One of the tools that I bought years ago, though, was this Enco milling vise, when I was hoping that I might ultimately have a mill. I have a video of me butchering it and putting the 4 drilled and tapped holes for a mag drill stand, but right at the moment the problem is that I need to use this ratcheting head, but I had at one point 3D printed a handle for it, which sadly does not take the stress, even though I put Enco right on it. So what I'm hoping is that this will be a lost wax kind of a process. This plastic ought to just melt away. So I'm going to take this swivel piece off, put the base into some sand, green sand, and split it, I guess. Gee, I don't know. It only needs to be one piece. Anyway, my first little project is exactly that, a tiny little project. So we'll see what happens. I might have some kitty litter around, and that could make just a little bit of green sand for a small steel container of some form or other. Anyway, I'm off to an open mic tonight, so enough of the shop for the day. Thanks for watching.